What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the morning movie chat. I hope you're all having a very good day. I am your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here on the Second Street Marvel. Now, I apologize. I just said that this was the morning movie chat, and we're switching things up today. And you know what, guys? I've been thinking about kind of switching up the format here of the morning chat just a little bit, just, because there's, it's not always heavy in movie news and just things like that. I mean, sure, if you're John Campea, you have a whole bunch of people there to bring you all, give you all kinds of topics and things like that to talk about. But hey, I'm a busy man and I don't do just this for a living. So hey, you gotta bear with me. Plus, there's other things I'm into besides just movies. I like music. I love comic books and different things like that. I'm a cyclist. I have all kinds of things that I enjoy, guys. And one of the other things that I enjoy, I myself personally, is personal development. You know what I mean? I love personal development. I love to. I'm a very deep thinker. I like thinking about things, how I don't know, just about all kinds of different things. But one thing I'm always looking to do is try to improve myself in whatever situation that you're in. Trying to be the best that I can be. You know what I mean? And that's something that's not hard. So I mean, you always got to basically be seeking out information. You know what I mean? Seeking out different information, different points of view, and different things like that. And just this morning, you guys know what a channel I've talked a lot about here on the show is Impact Theory. You guys should look him up here on YouTube. Actually, you might look up Tom Bilyeu. He's actually the co-founder of Impact Theory, and they do a lot of great videos. He drops videos 2 times a week on his channel. The first one is on Tuesdays. Just dropped this morning, called Impact Theory, or I believe it's Tom Talks. But he interviews and talks with different people just out there in the world for whatever different kinds of things there are out there to be successful. How other people have found success in different fields of work and different aspects of their life. Sometimes he has, like a couple weeks ago, was it last week? He had Chameleonaire on there, Chameleonaire, however you say it. But he had him on there and and talked to him. This week he had another guy on there. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but it was a really great show. They were talking. One of the things they were talking about though was how to basically how to be how to better, how not necessarily how to be better people, but how to better ourselves, how to have basically a winning mindset. And that, to me, that's something that you always everybody needs out there. You got it's not necessarily about thinking positive. That was the funny thing, is because as he was going on in the conversation, I'm like, oh yeah, this totally makes sense. But it's not just about positive thinking. And a lot of these things really, I think, play like a lot of these things they discuss really play into a lot of our into our lives. And what this was coming down to is not necessarily thinking positive or always being positive, because that's not how things always are. Because you're always going to be up against the odds in life, and no matter what you're doing as well. Even in fandoms, being a fan of comic books, even being a fan of movies and different things like that. You can see if you're part of these fandoms out there on social media. Just you're kind of always up against a lot. Just all these different things going on in the world, because people have different views, different opinions on things like that as well. So it's very I always think about it, a lot of these kinds of things. And today's conversation that they were having was talking about that, about like negative speak, and how the things that we say kind of really affect the things that we do, and how and our level of success. You've got to have a positive, not necessarily a positive mindset, but you've always got to be thinking in a positive sense. In that even when you fail at something, there's something to be learned. There's something to be gained there, even through your failures. But also, a lot of that comes down to kill it, like I've always talked a lot about this as well. Is don't it's not that you always have to be positive or anything like that, but speak to yourself positively. Have positive dialogue about yourself and the situation going forward. Don't go into it with a defeatist attitude. And this is, man, see, now all of a sudden I've got some hate breed going through my head. They did the song called "Destroy Everything" on their album Supremacy. It's a great album. It's a great song. But basically, what it has to do with is, don't have a defeatist. And also, even the intro song on the album is called "Defeatists." But don't have a defeatist mindset. Never think that you're dead in the water. Always think that you can overcome whatever obstacles you have, anything like that. Don't ever doubt yourself. It's okay to have to be have thoughts and just fears about things like that. That's perfectly normal, but don't ever doubt yourself. You can't let that sink in. You got to have the attitude that you can go out there. Don't have a defeatist attitude. So anyway guys, today's video over on impact theory was a really good one. It's stuff that I've thought a lot about myself, and this guy shared some of his thoughts, and he's worked with a bunch of successful like football teams, basketball teams, and things like that. Apparently, they give his credentials in the video. Very impressive stuff, and really it comes down to the power of our thoughts, the power of words, and that's why a lot of times it's you should always choose your words wisely, and especially when you're thinking when talking about yourself and even about others. Of course, there's always a bunch of weird things going on out there in the world, and that doesn't mean that you can't be critical of them or anything like that, but it's just maybe actually thinking through what we're talking about, because what you're thinking about and what your thoughts are, because a lot of times people seem to be just really arguing with themselves and trying to convince themselves of something, rather than because a lot of people think through emotion. People react emotionally and things like that instead of really. You shouldn't be controlled by your emotions, and that's what it comes down to. You should always be rational, thinking rationally, and that's like last night. I took my kids to karate class. My daughter was in karate, and they were there sparring, and my daughter, she's really good in karate, right? She's really good in karate class. She's good at the forms. We're taking her to a tournament here in 2 weeks. She's good at the forms and everything. She's great. She's fast. She's on point. She knows her shit. That's what it comes down to. She knows her shit. And so she was sitting there sparring with this other kid, and he's a bigger kid. He's a bigger kid. He's a boy and everything like that. And he comes at her all aggressively, all in her face, and I'm just saying like, oh. Like, sweetie, like, you're fast. Like, this dude's like, he's big and bullish and everything, but you know what? Like, you're fast. All you gotta do is move out of his way. Throw a punch faster. All kinds of stuff that she could do. But they're learning and everything. So they're sitting there sparring, and she got clocked right in the face. Bam! Right in the face. Took one right straight to the face, and it shook her. She's this has happened to her before. Right, this has happened to her before. She's been hit in the face before, and this is something I actually encourage. In class, the teachers kind of look at me. I'm like, go at it, hit her again. Well, he's not the one hitting her, but the kid's like, I'm okay with that. That's what needs to happen. That's what they're there in class for, is to get hit and to learn how to hit. But also what she did is after she got hit, she didn't start crying and like, become an emotional mess. That happened, I think, like the first time she got hit. But even the first time she ever got hit in class, like, she kind of got shook a little bit, and she got, she got a little bit emotional. Well, here, this time, she didn't. She improved on it. She kind of got shook a little bit, and she shook it off, and then she was there in class and sparring with the kid even a little bit longer, and she didn't go into panic mode. And that's one thing a lot of people do, is immediately go into panic mode. Now, the one thing is obviously you don't want to get hit again, but that doesn't mean you go into panic mode where you're sitting there, all of a sudden you don't throw any hits. All you're doing is backing up. All you're doing is on defense the whole time. That's not what she did. She was on defense, doing the best she could to not get hit, but at the same time saying, you know what? I just got hit. I'm going to hit this dude. And that's what it's about. That she took on those things and overcame that. And that's what life does to you. It comes and it clocks you and it hits you in the face. You gotta be used to that. You gotta be ready for it. And that's the thing is, always be ready to push back. And you do that just through practice, through improvement, and also through not being through having a mindset that I can do this, that I can get hit and keep going and moving forward. Anyway, all that being said, you got to go watch Impact Theory's video today. It was very, very good. Okay, so let's get into the live chat. Sorry here, guys. We'll get into the comics in just a minute. Captain Pennsylvania is here. Says, what is happening? We got some mutant love today. Yes, finally, man. Finally, love your local mutant. Give a mutant a kiss today. Fanjector says, "Oh my God, what happened to Trinity's head and face? I finally caught up with the razor. Yeah, I broke out the old lawnmower, did some hedging and some trimming. I'm not gonna tell you all where, but yeah, hey." Needless to say, I've got I'm cleanly shaved. I am True Skill says, "Hey Trinity, you want to hear something funny? My job sent me home for sleeping, and I came home, and I came in 5 hours early." Huh? That's weird. Captain Pennsylvania says, "Love all types of different things myself, buddy." Nice. I'm True Skill says, "You look like that guy from Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight." Oh man. I was thinking like Fanjector says, "I was thinking Lex Luthor or Billy Zane." I get Billy Zane a lot. I've got Billy Zane a lot. But you know who you need to look up? You need to go look up this actor. His name is Aaron Goodwin. This is one that Tara Zahn, Den of Nerds executive producer, told me about, and I was like, "Oh my God, this guy Aaron Goodwin." I seen his face, and I was like, "Hmm." And then I got this picture. I'd have to find it, but I was like, "Man, that's almost uncanny. It really is. It's almost uncanny." I was like, "Damn, like that. I do kind of look like that dude." But I've got Billy Zane before as well. Um, Mladen Kulik says, "How to improve ourselves?" Yes, yourself. Yourself in the sense that being successful, in things in your life. I mean, you gotta have some sort of goals, in doing something. I mean, unless you're just one of those people out there without goals, you just want to be one of those people just going through life, I guess. But me, like, I've got 3 kids. I run my own business. I don't want to go to work for anybody ever again. So I always try to think about things like that. What can I do to improve in my business? What can I do to get more customers, and all different kinds of things like that. Yeah, and improving yourself, and also just I'm a cyclist. I guess you could say I'm an athlete of sorts. I stay very athletic and fit and things like that. So yeah, improving yourself, but not only that, but improving yourself to help improve others. Because we affect all those around us, and we can always do better. But a lot of that comes through just having conversations with others. That's it, right? Just having conversations with others. It's just that simple to maybe learn somebody else's point of view, maybe learn things that have helped other people be successful, things that have learned people have learned to be successful, because you will find that a lot of these times people have common threads when it comes to these kinds of things. But yeah, to improve, yeah, self improvement, something everybody honestly needs to do. Self improvement. I mean, we should always be looking at ourselves and thinking, what can we do to improve? In no matter what it is, I think about that a lot. Even myself as a father, like, man, what else can I do with my kids? Like, what do I need to do to be a better parent? Which is funny, because I think a lot of times I feel like, man, I feel like I do like more than my parents did when I was growing up. You know what I mean? Because I think my parents did an okay job. So yeah, but just thinking about things like that, because improving yourself improves the situation around you, improves others, improves the world. And that's something we all want. I mean, look at the world out there. Sometimes it's a crazy place. It's a crazy place, and you got to do what you can to make a difference. um. Let's see. Milan says, "Hello, Cap. Just hanging here in the chat." Captain Pennsylvania says, "Hey, hate breed. Yes, indeed. Love hate breed." Tarazan says, "Trinity is Mr. Clean today. Howdy, kids. Yes." Oh, I gotta get the earring and the white. I'm surprised actually that my eyebrows aren't white too. Trinity does look 10 years younger. Looking good, man. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean that's what I do. Like the hair and everything. It's kind of like my weight loss plan and my look younger plan. Like sometimes I just let it grow, and I don't let people see my full face and everything. And then I shave, and people are like, "Oh my God, you look thinner. You look younger." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah. I've been losing weight. No, I just shaved. I just shaved." Nothing brings me to life like being hit in the face, Hulk smash. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, and I'm that kind of person too. Like sometimes it takes, it does take something like that. Like, something to kind of wake you up and get you ready to go out there and take on the world. You know, to maybe reinvigorate you, to keep your spirits up, to keep that fighting spirit alive. I think it's something we should all do. Shout out to Scott Summers, coolest mutant of all time. Fanjector says, morning Manscaped chat. Captain Pennsylvania says, Ghost Adventures. Justin Moan says, I'm used to the late 80s, early 90s version of Cyclops. I can't stand him. In as far as which one? As far as which Cyclops, like the new Cyclops? Um, Stacy's Fat Stack says, good morning, everyone. Justin Simone says, I'm a Wolvie Gambit Cable guy. Hey, yeah. Like the Cable guy? Speaking of which, I'm still salty that the Cable guy didn't win. But I know, I'm just kidding. I know what Cable you're talking about. That's cool. Love the Rogue and Gambit romance of the 90s. Yes, indeed. I Am True Skill says, hey, Trinity, is there any strategy to start a business? You know what? Just be informed. You know what you're getting yourself into. Look into everything before you get into it. Research. Just do a lot of research, but always know that you're not going to have all the answers, and know that look to others who have done what you're wanting to do, and do what they, mimic to be successful. Look at other people that have been successful in whatever you're doing and mimic what they do. That's what I do even when I'm out riding my bicycle. Sometimes when I'm out doing a climb, I'm out riding with the guys and I'm riding on my, when we're riding and I'm feeling good, I think, okay, like what would like Alberto Contador do here? And while he was doing it, what would he do? How would he look? He would be dancing on the pedals. He wouldn't be sitting down on the seat and pedaling really hard. He'd be out of the seat, throwing the bike side to side, just like dancing on the bike. You gotta mimic. You gotta mimic something. Justin Simone says Gambit had a lot to do. Had a lot of chasing. Gambit had to do a lot of chasing. Persistent little Cajun, yes. Love Gambit movie too. It's just people shouldn't think that he can beat Cyclops. Who, Gambit beat Cyclops? Oh yeah, I doubt that. I doubt that. Whiskey Steals and Tumbleweeds, thank you for being here. Superior Heroes Reviews. Thank you also for being here. So yeah, guys, let's go ahead and get into some comic book stuff. One thing I wanted to start off with is last week. I'm not sure if you guys caught my comic book pull list. You should probably always go check those out. Sometimes I do giveaways in those. I give away comic books in them sometimes, and you should check them out because I announced the winners in those as well. But last week I was talking about this one right here, Jessica Jones, issue number 4. This just came out last week. And in my comic book pull list, I kind of gave a prediction about what would go on in this book. I predicted that Jessica Jones would be tied up in a chair. She would be smarting off to the person who had her held captive. Hey, I'm pretty smart. And you know what? You're never gonna guess what, but hey, I was right. I was right because they use these same repeat panels in like every single issue of this entire series. And yeah, so basically what's going on here is Jessica Jones is tracking down a killer. She actually got killed. What it turns out was there was this girl that she had tried to help years earlier from get out of an abusive relationship, and she was told to investigate this boyfriend. Thinks that this guy was cheating on her, or just all kinds of different things. So this girl went to Dia Sloan. Went to Jessica Jones to have her investigate him and follow him and all that kinds of stuff. And, well, she was never able to help this girl. This girl ended up disappearing, and she thought she had died, and, lo and behold, in issue number 1, it turns out that Jessica Jones returns to her office one night, and, the girl was dead there in her office, and she's like, oh my god, so she went out to investigate, and she actually ended up getting killed. She ended up getting shot in the back of the head. She came back to life, and it turns out that this girl isn't dead, but there's this mystery that's been going on here, and it turns out here in issue number 4 we see that this boyfriend, this ex-boyfriend of Dia Sloan, is he has some magical abilities as well. Well, what she can do, this Dia Sloan, she has powers, and her powers are whatever she wishes comes true. She can wish it to come true. I know, right? It's so cool. And so she kind of she wishes for these different things, and they come true if she concentrates and wishes hard enough. When you no, I'm not gonna wish upon a star and get myself a content strike. But so she wished that her boyfriend, because her boyfriend had a problem with her having these powers. He didn't like it, and he was basically like abusive to her, and and she says, and all I could think was, what if he had power like me? Things would be better because he couldn't handle it. That she had power and he didn't. So she basically wished him powers, and he basically ended up having the same powers that she had, right? Because that makes things better, right? In an abusive relationship, that works. That works, right? And well, it turns out that there are people being basically dying, and they're being wished back alive. Like this guy has been coming back and wishing her back alive. And you know what? Spider-Man's in this book. Spider-Man's in this book, and Mary Jane has just gotten killed. Mary Jane had just been killed, and Spidey's sad. And I gotta tell you, I don't like these. I don't like this artwork in this book. I don't like this drawing of Spider-Man. This I don't know. It just doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. What do you think about that? Can you guys see that close enough? There is it there good enough? I don't know. The drawing itself just looks funny. I don't know what it is, but also he's here being very non Spider-Man. Even with Mary Jane being killed here and everything. I get it. That would weigh heavily on him. I would get how that would affect him, and he would be distraught and kind of not himself. But yeah, and of course, what did we get? We got even more of what I was saying. What I was saying we'd get. We get more of Jessica Jones sitting there tied up, smarting off to her captors. Yeah, this book is being written by Kelly Thompson. Let's see, Mattia de Ilias is the artist. VC's Corey Petit is the letterer. Valerio Gian Giordano and Marcio Menez are on the cover. I'll go ahead and show you those names right there. But yeah, that's the cover. I don't know. I just didn't like the look of Spider-Man in here. This Jessica Jones story, it's pretty much not really. I don't know. It hasn't been that great. It hasn't been terrible. To me, it really just falls in to what Kelly Thompson does, like her books, her writing, and that is, it's this female character, and basically her superpower is talking shit. Her superpower is talking shit and being a smart aleck to her enemies. That's really about it. That's her superpower, is having a smart aleck wit and charm. It hasn't been that good. It hasn't been that bad. And like I said, this falls right in with a lot of Kelly Thompson stuff, where the hero here isn't really doing anything heroic. It's we get a lot of scenes, of eating food and drinking coffee. Luke Cage, who is Jessica Jones' husband here, he doesn't really do anything. He's at home babysitting the kids. He's at home helping babysit the kids, and instead of helping track down the killer who shot his wife, who just kind of takes off and leaves him alone. She's going out there and doing it alone. She's going out there and doing her investigatory work while Luke Cage just sits at home. And in case I was talking the other day about how Marvel has been doing better on continuity. Maybe somebody didn't tell Kelly Thompson, but Mary Jane is actually in Los Angeles right now. She's in Los Angeles filming a movie. Yeah, so I don't know, but I don't know. I guess, like I said, Jessica Jones. It's been It's been okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much else I can say about it. There's one more issue getting ready to come out. Then I'll probably do a full review of this series and give you guys my overall thoughts on it. But right now, it's not looking that great. Like I said, Kelly Thompson, she's I don't know. I haven't really read anything impressive by her. I've been reading the Captain Marvel series. I think I got to read last week's issue and then the week that came out before. I think I got 2 issues to read, and it's just not really. Yes, Senate. It's just not really that. I don't know. It's okay. I mean, it's not a story that's interesting that grabs me and makes me want to read it. But it's a 5 issue miniseries, so I figured I'd go ahead and read them all, review it, and then maybe I'll okay this to somebody. Maybe I'll send it to somebody out there in the comic book community, and then they can read it and review it, and have a video to do on their channel about it. If they're not already reading it, well, if they're already reading it, why would I send it to them, right? Anyway, but yeah, Jessica Jones hasn't been too good. It hasn't been too good. But that also brings me back to Spider-Man as well. I got some other things that we want to share here about Spider-Man. Just some other things. Let's see what's going on here in the chats. Let's see. Jessica Jones has a comic. Yes, Captain Pennsylvania. It's a 5 issue mini-series called Blind Spot. Blind Spot. She's still with Luke. Yes, they are married. Got the kid. Got their daughter. I've actually forgotten about her. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when she had her last series. The Senate says, "Damn, rest in peace." Oh, who? What? Um, Justin Simone says Jessica Jones show was actually pretty interesting. You know what? I did like the Jessica Jones series on Netflix. I watched I think the first season and maybe a half of the second season, I think. I don't know, but I did like the Jessica Jones series. Actually, it was one of my favorites out of all of the. It was actually one of my favorites out of all the Netflix Marvel series. The Senate says so. If someone gets axe murdered and all chopped up, they come back to life. Pretty much. That's how it would happen, I guess, here in this case. I don't know. Mladen Kulik says, "What are your thoughts on Kelly Thompson as a writer? I only read her Hawkeye Kate Bishop run and wasn't a fan of the character." Kelly Thompson as a writer, she's very Mladen, and that's I guess I was just sharing that. I kind of answered that through talking about this. Is she's not she's not terrible, but she's not good. Her stories are very bland. They don't leave me wanting to read the next issue. It's just like, okay, like this issue happened. It's over. We'll get to the next one, right? We'll get to the next issue and we'll read it. There's no real I don't feel there's really any mystery being built up here. There's not being a world built around the story of anything that's going on. It's just they're just stories. It's not that great of storytelling. It's not that good of storytelling. The I would, and it's not that I expect more of her. But I would like to see. I would think that a Jessica Jones story like this could be easily be a lot more interesting. A lot more fun situations and things that could actually be happening, even with the cast that has been involved here. We've had Elsa Bloodstone's come on the scene. We've had Spider-Man's here now. There's all kinds of different characters, all kinds of different things that could be going on better here. We got Luke Cage here. We got Luke Cage coming in here as well. I believe we even seen Misty Knight. Misty Knight's even in here. Just there's a lot on the table, but a lot's being left on the table, and that's what it is. I think that's just kind of I don't know. I don't think that Kelly Thompson is. I think she's probably able to write a good book, but nothing like needs some work there in making something good and interesting. Which speaking of, we were just talking about Jessica Jones. Let's move on to some Spider-Man. What about some Spider-Man, guys? What do you guys think about Spider-Man? You guys like Spider-Man? Spider-Man looks so shiny. Yeah, he did look a little shiny. I didn't really like the art in it. The show was good. Helped her comic run, I'm sure. Yeah, Mary Jane is dead. Yeah, in the book she's dead. They brought her back to life though. They brought her back to life. Mary Jane can never die. Saw her the other day, right? Wow, sounds like a boring comic. It it's been, because Jessica Jones she's an investigator. I would think it's supposed to be at least interesting, and maybe it would not be somewhat predictable, but it's been fairly lackluster. The sentence says, if talking shit is a superpower, I should be God. Right? Captain Pennsylvania says he's always babysitting. Yeah, right? He's yeah, so the sentence says, so Luke Cage became a cucked out biatch. Oh man, that's funny. Yes, yes. Justin Simone says they took the toxic masculinity right out of him. Oh man, that's funny. I'm True Skill says Luke Cage hasn't been a badass since the Thunderbolts. Yeah. So he's basically a bitch now. I mean, that's basically what's going on with Luke Cage. Yeah, pretty much. He's basically that. They took his whole masculinity. Yeah, for the most part. And really all he got to do, it would be easy to give it back to him. All he got to do is get involved. Just get involved and fight. That's all he's got to do. It's not like he's got to do anything like crazy. Yeah. The sentence says, Pert Minded is here. What's up, man? The sentence says, Kelly has never been a good writer. Watching your reviews and reading her work, it's all trash to me. Yeah, it's very lackluster. I mean, there's no excitement in it, is what it is. There's no excitement. It's just a bunch of boring conversations. Um, Cocaine 80 says, Blind Spot was released years ago digitally. Really? I did not know that. I did not know that. The sentence says, I only watched season 1 of Jessica Jones because David Tennant is a effing amazing actor. When he died in that lackluster way, I stopped giving an F. Yeah. And I thought he was, David Tennant was great in that series too. I really did like him. Was it like The Man in Purple or whatever? I can't stop reading Spidey. Seems I love him. Yeah, me too. I love Spider-Man. Batman better than Spider-Man, but I still love Spider-Man. Agreed. Cocaine 80 says, I love Spider-Man, but it's so convoluted to keep up with at this point. Marvel isn't more about numbers over greatness. Marvel isn't more about numbers over greatness most of the time. Luke Cage is a jobber now. Yeah, right? Pretty much. Now, yeah, so getting back into Spider-Man. We've got this series. This series right here. It was being written by J.J. And Henry Abrams. It's got art by Sarah Pichelli. I don't know how I say her name. They got issue number 1 here. We've got issue number 2. We've also got issue number 3 here. Now I believe this series started back in October of last year. October. It's only a 6-issue miniseries, and what's going on here? Once again, it seems like Marvel has, and they're not the only ones that have done this. They're not the only ones that are guilty of this. I believe DC did the same thing with what was that series they did? Watchmen, Clock Tower, all along the Watchtower. Jimi Hendrix. I don't know. Where it took like 2 years to release like 12 books. The same thing seems to be going on here. We got, like, what happened was, like, 1 month we got issue number 1, the next month we got issue number 2. Then, I think a couple months later we got issue number 3. No, that's issue number 2. A couple months later we got issue number 3. And now I think it's been like issue number 3. I believe this came out, I don't know, maybe in January. I can't remember. It's been that long ago. I think Marvel started doing this book and then they just forgot about it. They forgot they were doing this book, and it was like, oh, or maybe it was just that, maybe J.J. Abrams was so busy doing those rewrites of the The Rise of Skywalker. He didn't have time to finish his book, and his son, who obviously got this job just out of nepotism or something, pretty much here, just must have just been like, well, I got better things to do. You know what I mean? Like, we got a couple of the books done, right? Isn't that good enough? I mean, Marvel forgets about books all the time. They forget. I'm not sure what's going on here. And to be honest, like, it would probably be okay even if they just stopped making this book. It hasn't been that great of a read, but it hasn't been bad neither. Basically, what's going on here is in issue number one, Mary Jane gets killed right off the bat from this new bad guy. Gets killed, and then we fast forward some odd years later and we see that Peter Parker is alive, and he has his son Ben there, who is living with his Aunt May. Peter Parker is basically absent in his son's life. His son is very resentful of him. His son finds his Spider-Man suit because Aunt May tells him where it's at. And I don't know. Peter Parker's just basically a deadbeat dad here with a hook for a hand. With a hook for a hand because he lost his hand trying to save Mary Jane, which something he could do. Clear back when he was fighting this guy. And then his son comes in, finds out, he's an angsty teen and he's upset. Finds his suit and he becomes Spider-Man. And he ends up, he's got this girl that he meets at school that's not really his girlfriend, but it's like kind of his girlfriend. I don't know, this girl's kind of a weirdo. And anyway, they come to find out that, there's this guy out there who's been out trying to seek Spider-Man's powers, right? He needs blood samples or whatnot from Peter Parker, from Spider-Man, and so then he ends up seeing Ben Parker out there and decides to go after him. Well, yeah, I'm telling you, it's really weird. Man, it just hasn't been of like that great of a read. It's okay. It's okay. It's not terrible. It's not great. We get Tony Stark is in this book. Tony Stark is actually the guy who created this. I can't even remember the guy's name in here. Anybody remember the guy's name in here? That's how long it's been since I've read issue number 3. But that's how interesting it has been as well. The story, and basically this creature, this person, this being or whatnot, was created by Tony Stark. And of course we get Tony Stark in here. We get a deadbeat Peter Parker. I guess you could say this is an alternate universe. We get a deadbeat Peter Parker, and we get Tony Stark in here. Now the Tony Stark that's in here is basically the MCU version of Tony Stark. It's Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark, and that whole shtick really, it doesn't go so far in the comic book. It plays well for maybe a minute or two on screen, but here in this comic book, it just doesn't work. I haven't really been impressed by this comic book, and obviously Marvel hasn't been really impressed by it neither because they stopped putting it out. They either stopped putting it out or they either cancel it, or maybe they forgot about it again. Maybe they forgot about it in another event they were doing. They forgot about it, or I don't know. Has anybody else been keeping up with this series? I don't know. Like I said, it's been pretty bad. It could be interesting, but it's not. It has all the makings there of being something interesting, but it's just not there. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. Have you guys been reading this Spider-Man? It's been, like I said, it's been pretty boring. It's been pretty boring. Let's see. Luke Cage is dropping it. I haven't read that yet. Cocaine 80 says the writing in that book is shit. Yes, it is. It is. It's bad. It sounds like it's being written by a little millennial, like a millennial who's upset at his father, and that's probably exactly how Henry Abrams feels about. It's art imitating life, because I think this book is really just like a memoir of of Henry Abrams and how he feels about his dad. Doomsday Clock? Yeah, that could be the one. The sentence says 2 years. 2 effing years. That shit was annoying, yes. Whiskey Steals and Tumbleweed says, Webhead was always my favorite Marvel character, but Marvel always seems to be messing with him. Yeah. Oh, he says, oh, yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing, Whiskey Steals and Tumbleweeds is, me too, like, Spider-Man is my favorite. He's obviously their cash cow. He's the one that they do, like, 10 events of him a year, like 10 different spin-offs a year, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, just give me one good storyline. And that's kind of what was going on here with the Amazing Spider-Man. which this issue was once again pretty good. Nick Spencer really stepping it back up on Amazing Spider-Man. If you dropped out of Amazing Spider-Man, get back on it. The last handful of issues have been really good, and this once again, this issue right here, issue number 40, was good. But the thing is there for about 10 issues, from issue about 26, 27 on through about 36, 37. It was really on like this like on this down on this like it was doing this thing. It was like on a downward trajectory, and it started picking back up. But what happened was they took the character and they got him crossing over into everything. They had him crossing over into Spider-Man 2099. They had him crossing over into Absolute Carnage. They had it tying into all this different stuff. And it's like, like, if you're gonna do events, that's all fine. But do events separate. Don't, just because he's your cash cow doesn't mean you should have him in 10 different timelines going on, or tying at least his main series, which should be a good series, tying into everything. While they were doing the tie-ins, this series was not very good. Once they stopped doing that and started getting concentrated back on Spidey himself, the series has picked back up in quality. It's good again. So it's something they need to stop. Fuck, how the ugh. I swear, I turned this Siri off and it keeps coming on. Keeps coming on my phone. How does it keep turning on? It's frustrating. Anyway, so yeah, like they need to just keep the character there by himself, and this would be a lot better altogether. They need to just stop doing everything with him. And it's okay if you have a different series to spin off with him. That's fine. Like Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality has been a great read, but it's one of those ones when you pick it up and read it, it's in an alternate universe. It's not your regular Peter Parker Spider-Man, the main continuity stuff that's been going on. It's not that. And it's been really good. And I think, sometimes there is a little bit of context that comes to these, but they need to slow down with the Spider-Man stuff, definitely. Senate says, oh yeah, I forgot JJ was writing this shit. Yeah. The Senate says, Marvel forgot Thor once, and I stopped buying Thor, right? Jason Preston, thank you for being here, says, I'm late, y'all. Meetings. I understand. Lord Callis, my brother, says, what's up, man? How are you doing? My brother, you know what? Lord Callis, I know you're clear out on the East Coast, but maybe we need to get you on the show sometime soon. Maybe Friday on the Trailer Park Live or something, man. We need to get together. Man. The Senate says they made Spider-Man a dick again. Yay! Thank you, JJ, for this amazing writing. Take it easy, Cap says he's got to go. I'm working early. No problem. Take it easy. Let's see, where was I there? Aggressively Relaxing says, Luke Cage's last run shows him taking the heroic step of being honest with his family about his CTE and deciding to step away from being a hero. What was it? His CTE? His CTE? I obviously didn't read that series, Aggressively. You have to fill me in on it, man. Do a video on it. No, I didn't read it. Yeah, me neither. Yeah. Jason Preston says, hashtag Starksham. You gotta put the in there. Hashtag the Starksham. Yes. Never forget about the Starksham. Justin Simone says, what the fuck? Y'all, I keep reading my old, I keep rereading my old comics. Yeah, go ahead. Keep rereading the old ones. So Tony and Peter are both dicks. Yes. Tony's just a smart ass. That's all he is in the thing. He's just a smart ass is what it comes down to. JJ should just stop altogether. You've been keeping me up on the comics because I'm broke, so I haven't been reading anything except Batman. Hey, and I heard that Batman been getting good. I heard it's been getting good again. That Spider-Man is not main canon, so I'm not interested. Yeah, I totally hear you there. Aggressively Relaxing. And the story itself, it just hasn't been good, which we're gonna get onto another Spider-Man story here in just a minute. I dropped out of Amazing Spider-Man when that Craven event started, and I had to buy a bunch of tie-ins. I said F that. The Craven one. Oh, are you talking about the Hunted? Well, it was only those ones, and you didn't have to buy them. It was just telling the background of the bad guys. But yeah, I hear you. Siri's a bitch like that. Yeah. Hey Siri, what time is it? That's not funny. That's not funny. And I fell for it too. Aggressively Relaxing says the Symbiote Spider-Man book is taking place in the past and is main continuity. Well, it's not main continuity though. It is taking place in the past, but it's not main continuity. Well, at least Alien Reality isn't anyway. It's not anyway because it's literally in a different space. Lord Cal says, "Let's do it." Yes, definitely, man, definitely. We'll have to get you. Yeah, maybe I was gonna say maybe this Friday for sure. Mladen Kulik says, "Amazing Spider-Man issue 40 is good. Still waiting for the Sins story arc to find out the identity of mysterious villain with centipedes." Yeah, you're talking there, Mladen, about what's his name, Kindred. Yeah, like. Yeah, this Kindred, it's really getting to me. Who is Kindred? I know my brother Chillmonger. He's had some theories on it, but I'm not sure. I think he's still reading Spider-Man as well. I think the one who stopped reading Spider-Man was Dylan. I think Dylan stopped reading Spider-Man. But yeah, I thought issue number 40 was good, and like I said, these last few issues, I think issue number 36 is when it started picking up and getting good again. But all those tie-ins that they were doing with it was just pretty bad. But yeah, still waiting for that. Like, it's taking too long for them to do that. Like, that should have been like when they introduced him. That should have been done in like the first like maybe 10 issues or something. Like, had him out there, introduces the villain, and we know who he is, and that's it. Like, it's carrying on far too long. Of course, people might say that about Nick Spencer altogether. Lord Cal says, "You can't turn Siri off. They're always watching." I know, right? The Senate says, "Tom King stopped writing Batman, so it's good now, right?" Do you read any indies, says Cocaine 80s. Yes, I do. Fanjax is laughing his ass off. Okay. Cocaine 80 says Ascender and Wasted Space are fire. Okay. I will tell you, Cocaine 80s, Ascender I haven't read. I've heard it's pretty good, but Wasted Space are ones I want to go get those on trade paperback because Michael Morisi, if I'm correct here, is the writer of Wasted Space, or one of the writers, and he is one of my favorite writers in indie comics right now. He's just amazing. He's a great writer. He knows how to write a good book, and I've been wanting to check out Wasted Space. I've been wanting to order those trade paperbacks. Maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to go to my LCS and ask them to order some of those for me. Aggressively Relaxing says the chronic trauma encephal. Okay, it's a neurodegenerative disease caused by repeated head injuries. Boxers and football players get it famously. Oh. Luke Cage got Kindred. Did Luke Cage seriously get that? Are you serious? No, man. He can't. He can't. Oh. All right. I'm gonna have to read that. If that's actually true and that's in a series, send me what series that is so I can read that on Marvel Unlimited. Cause yeah, I gotta read that. Because I believe you. Aggressively Relaxing says, Kindred is going to be a part of the Mephisto event. They have been building this for 3 years. Okay. Because, yeah, I was going to say, I know Mephisto right now is locked up in Vegas. He's there, or whatever, and all that stuff. Yeah, so interesting. But, at one point, I was kind of starting to think, like, is Kindred, is it Ben Parker? Is it Ben? Is it Uncle Ben? Is it Norman Osborn? I don't know. Is it Gwen Stacy? Ooh. I don't know. Could Kindred be Gwen Stacy? Anyway, getting into some more comic books. This next one I want to talk about. You know what? Yeah, no. This next one is a Spider-Man book as well. Amazing Spider-Man Daily Bugle, guys. I wonder if I should pull out. Maybe I need to sit here while we're here talking about this. Maybe I need to pull out issue number 1 so we can talk about this just a little bit more. Did I put issue number 1 away? I can't remember if I did, because I thought I still needed to record a review on it, and I just never got around to it. And maybe yeah, I got it right here. Amazing Spider-Man Daily Bugle. Have you guys read this one? Oh man. I'm telling you, man. We all see in with like I'm not gonna act like it's blow it up and act like like everything's heading down the crap, or like you watch like your boy Zach, he talks about how a lot about how the comic industry is tanking, and it's just not it's in a really bad spot right now. Now some of the things are undeniable, like it's not doing the best, it's not in the best of health right now. The comic industry isn't, and that's why when it comes down to it, like you need to put out good titles for people to read, good titles that people want to read. And a lot of that comes with good writers, like I was just saying, with Cocaine 80s here, with Wasted Space, and Michael Morisi, and how great of a writer he is. You need good writers to tell good stories, to get people wanting to read comic books. Certainly in comic books there has been a lot of issues. People will look at like Comicsgate and things like those, and that's not what I want to talk about here, but look at that, like people talk about politics and comic books. Well, these are art forms. That's just kind of what happens when it comes to when it comes to comic books. People put those kinds of things in books, but they should really be selective of what they do with their characters and the stories that they're telling with them. I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to more than anything, is really just telling a good story, something that's thought provoking and stuff like that, right? We want something that's good. Just anybody in general wants just a really good story. And I think there has been a lot of bad storytelling going on in through Marvel and DC there for a while. They were doing a lot of things with their legacy characters, which they just need to leave alone and bring in new characters, introduce new characters. This is exactly what indie writers do all day long. When they come up with a new book, a new title, a new series that they want to do, is that they're building a new world. They're building new characters. You can bring in new characters into a world that's already built as well. But that's just something you got to do. But then also through this, that I mean, they've been putting out some stories that are pretty, I don't know, not that great as well. And that's where Amazing Spider-Man Daily Bugle comes into it at. Um, this book is really odd. This isn't for one. I'll just tell you. This is just bad writing. This once again, like I feel like this book is probably telling that, like, who is writing this book. I think the person that's writing this book is probably writing the story. Well, this is a Spider-Man book. We were just talking about J.J. Abrams' Spider-Man, right? I think the person that's writing this book is writing this book about J.J. Abrams and Henry Abrams and their Spider-Man book and their Spider-Man comic book at Marvel. This is called The Hanging Judge, Part 1 of 5. It's being written by Matt Johnson. Here's the thing. Matt Johnson is on plot and script. Mac Chater is on the layouts on pages 1, 4 through 21. Finishes on pages 1, 4 through 8, 11 through 14, 21. Francesco Mobili is on layouts for 2 to 3. Finishes on pages 2 to 3, 9 to 10, 15 to 17, 19 to 20. Scott Hanna's on finishes for pages 18. Colors is done by Dono Sanchez Almaro, Proto Bunk. Like, there's so many damn people doing this comic book. Like, for one, like, what is this? Like, what is that? What's going on here? Writer, artist, writer, pencils, inks, colorist, right? Like, I don't know. This, for one, you can see there's already too many people here. And this is right here for one, for telling at least a decent story. I mean, at least there's only one writer here. At least there's only one writer. But what we get in this story is we get Robbie. Is it Robbie Robertson? Robbie Robertson. It starts off here with the Daily Bugle. Some of these looks back at history. Spider-Man swinging across there. Yeah, and I believe isn't it Robbie? Is that his name? Robertson? Robbie? Could be right. He's the publisher of the Daily Bugle. And what's going on here is he's got this story. he's talking to all these people about, all of his news staff there about these stories and things that are going on. What he says, they're gonna do, we're gonna go Hail Mary in depth. They want more original investigative work. It's what put the Daily Bugle on the map, and it's our roadmap, to the future. The city needs the Bugle now more than ever because the city needs truth. The Kingpin may be our mayor, but New York is ours. Um, and he's talking about a lot of this, and then he's giving everybody their assignments, talking about what they want to do. But then he brings in, he teams up. God, who is it? His photographer here. Not Peter Parker. Ben. This guy's name is Ben here, and he's one of their investigatory journalists here. Um, he says he needs him to take over this duty temporarily. He says we have somebody new on staff. She's green, she's talented, but new. You're our star. I need you to show her how it's done at the Bugle. He's talking about doing some investigative journalism, but it ends up being his niece. It ends up being his niece that he gets to go out there, and so basically. This Ben he don't really want to take this babysitting assignment. She let's see where she gives his credentials. They're sitting here having a conversation. He says, "Then I read your Legacy of Evil. That's when I knew I had to be a reporter." He's saying, "Yup." And she goes, "You." She goes, "I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my uncle, but who wants to be an administrator when you can break news?" And he's like, "Yup." He just sat there kind of dismissing her. And she says, "Did my uncle show you any of my work?" And he says, "Mentioned a blog. Cute. Listen, I'm on story over at Empire State U, so I gotta skedaddle in a minute." She says, "Cute? I'm not cute. I'm a journalist." And he says, "It's some big shot professor scandal. Good for, what would you call it? Page clicks? Come with." And Ben Urich. She says, "Mr. Urich, I'm not some random intern. I'm a social media journalism specialist." He says, "That's good. The online stuff. Maybe you can use those clips to get into journalism school." I don't need to go to journalism school. I have 114K followers on NowPick, 191K on Chirper, and 229.8K on FaceSpace. I'm not at the Bugle because my uncle did me a favor. I'm doing him one. Okay, no disrespect. I don't get the whole social media thing. Basically, what's going on in this story is we get this girl who's coming in to be a reporter for the Daily Bugle, and she's better than everybody. She's better than your journalists that have been doing it for years, and she knows this because she has all of these followers on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. She's sitting here. She's doing her uncle a favor. Her uncle, who is a publisher of he's the head editor, I guess, the editor of the Daily Bugle, and she's doing him a favor. This girl who didn't even go to school, journalism school. So he kind of, he dismisses her. He goes ahead and tries to get rid of her. And she goes and she finds out this story about these webs that have people. We got angry yelly girl in here. So she goes off to check out these webs that are hanging around, and I think I heard mention of this in one of the other Spider-Man issues. But these webs that are just like, they're clogging up the town, they're making everything dirty, and these webs that are just left hanging around are they're just making everything dirty. And then we get here later where Spider-Man is no longer a genius. He's not smart. He has to reach out to somebody else for their help. because he can't figure it out because he's not smart. Um, yeah, this first issue was pretty bad, but here at the end of it, we find this guy that's been here hanging. He's dead and he's hanging there by one of Spider-Man's from one of Spider-Man's webs. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm telling you, this the main character in this Amazing Spider-Man book, Robbie Robertson's. I think it's Robbie. Is it Robbie Robertson? His niece. She's annoying. She's insufferable. Um, and then in this next book we get this robbery going on. Spider-Man comes in and saves the day. Comes in and saves the day and strings up this bad guy. For the cops to come in and get. Well, the cops get there, and the guy's dead. The guy's dead. And of course, naturally, who shows up but Robertson's, his niece, and she's sitting there smarting off to the photographer, smarting off to the police officers, and everything because she knows what she's an investigatory journalist. She's got almost 200,000 Twitter followers, and it's very, oh yeah, and once again, Spider-Man, he's not smart. He don't even know how to investigate this webbing that's killing people. He had to go to somebody else. To look up about this webbing and tell the difference between their webbing and his webbing. He couldn't even do it. He had to reach out to somebody else. Spider-Man, the guy who created his own web fluid, had to reach out to this kid about webbing to tell the difference between his webbing and somebody else's. This book is trash. This book is complete garbage. Yeah. Anyway, hey, but we got 3 more issues to go through. We got three more issues of it to go through. We'll see how this one turns out. But it's pretty bad. It's pretty damn bad here. It's pretty bad. And it's when it's I don't think they're what is it the thing they say about polishing a turd. I don't think there is any polishing this. This right here can't be made good. I don't see how this is going to tell anywhere interesting of a story. This is what hurts when you put these kind of books out. Because some people, maybe somebody decides to pick this one up for whatever reason and read this. This is what like somebody reads this and like this isn't even a Spider-Man book. I mean, of course, it says Amazing Spider-Man Daily Bugle. So I mean, but yeah, this isn't even a Spider-Man tale. They're false selling this for one as a Spider-Man book. Spider-Man's in it, yes, but he's not Spider-Man. This isn't even Spider-Man in this book. It's very interesting. There's some situations that happen here in issue 2 that it's almost like really like the foreshadowing in here is I don't know, maybe I could be wrong on some of this stuff, but this book is just bad. It's just bad. The art in this book isn't even really that great. The story's bad. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how else to say it. But yeah, guys, this is not good. I don't even know what else to say about that. But let's get back here in the chat and see what you guys have to say here. Totally serious about Cage. 4-part series. What's the best book of the year in your opinion? The best book of the year, in my opinion, as far as like this year so far, aggressively, or last year? Because if we're talking about last year, my favorite comic book of last year was Black Widow: No Restraints Play, right up there with Neon Future from Impact Theory Comics. So far this year, I'm not for sure what my favorite book has been so far this year. As far as if you're wanting something that started this year, I'm not really for sure. What that would be, as far as my favorite right now. The Senate says another event. No. Another event. No, my wallet can't handle this. Justin Simone says writer, illustrator, the end. Right. Justin Simone says, do they list the person that went to the store to buy the pens? No. Max Santiago, thank you for being here. Sentence says, truth and the Daily Bugle don't go in the same sentence, right? Yeah, it's like an oxymoron. The Daily Bugle is basically CNN, right? Aggressively relaxing says, I wish they would decide on a Facebook gag name. Rock's face is my favorite. All right. Oh yeah, I hear you. Yeah, they got so many different ones. That's why I just call it Facebook, Instagram. So that's what it is. Lord Cal says she sounds like Dr. Aphra from Star Wars. Oh, is Dr. Aphra that bad, Lord Callus? Oh man, okay, yeah. Cause yeah, she's like she just comes in there like she just takes over the place like are you kidding me? Like I'm a social media influencer. Of course, I know how to do your job better than you do, Mr. Reporter guy. Yeah, it's crazy. Max Santiago says, Lord Callus, your content is on point. I'm not a fan of Disney Star Wars, but your insight and commentary make it sound almost intriguing. Really good stuff. Yeah, absolutely, Max. Lord Callus is seriously like the best Star Wars YouTuber that most people don't know about. Most people should be watching this dude's channel instead of like, what is that, the Star Wars Theory and all that? No, dude. Go to Lord Callus. Where do you think Star Wars Theory gets his theories from? He steals them from Lord Callus. Or at least he watches Lord Callus's videos and then he builds theories on them anyway. I try to cover new canon and legends, definitely. Matt Sanchez says, bro, Marvel. Yeah. Max Santiago says, I'm interested in old Republic books. Where should I begin? FK Bart says, missed another stream. Dang it. It's all good. You can always go back and watch it on the replay, man. Justin Simone says, Lord Callus TV, can you send me a link? I'm a big Legends fan, not a Disney hater, but not a huge fan of Last Jedi or the sequel trilogy. The Rise of Skywalker is the best of the three, in my opinion. Yeah, Justin, you should definitely go check out Lord Callus's channel. Lord Callus, you can feel free to drop your link there in the chat, man. Yeah, no, Lord Callus is great, dude. He's definitely my favorite Star Wars channel out there, man. And I'm telling you, and he knows his stuff. And while he's not a complete fan of all the new sequel trilogy stuff, he does. I mean, he still likes it, and he does break it all down. And he don't sugarcoat stuff, but he don't over conflate things neither. He keeps on a pretty even kill, man. Lord Callus is awesome. Definitely go check out his stuff. Let's see. Max Santiago says, Trinity, do you read any Alterna comics? I haven't. I haven't read any Alterna comics. What are your favorite Alterna comics? I've seen some of them out there. I don't think I've seen any at my LCS though, but they would order them in if I asked. Justin Simone says, I'm almost finished with Deceived, which is pretty good in my opinion. I haven't heard of that one. Deceived? I haven't heard of that. I have not heard of that. Gosh, there was something else I wanted to talk about today, guys. There was something else I wanted to talk about today. I don't really have time to get into it. Maybe we'll do a live stream a little bit later. If you are, in case you guys don't already know, there are some links down in the description where you can send direct donations to the channel if you would like to. Again, nothing required. I'm going to be sitting here flapping my gums about stuff anyway. But you can also become a monthly Patreon supporter for as little as $1 a month. And probably later today, if not sometime later this week, but hopefully later today I'll get a chance to do this. I want to do a live stream over there and talk about just some other things, just kind of about the channel and just different things, my thoughts on some different things going on out there in the world. These are some live streams that I do for my Patreon supporters over there. So I am probably going to get that done. I try to do at least one a month, but I want to do a lot more, talking about just a lot more things, like with me personally, and like kind of I guess like what I do and my thoughts on different things, just a little bit more personal look at me and kind of my thoughts on different things in on the comic books and on fandoms and things in general. One I've been wanting to do for a while. And, because you guys know, here on my channel, I've focused mostly on sharing things that I love, talking about comics, movies, and even music, and sharing that with you guys, sharing my love of them to hopefully get you into your local theater, into your local comic shop, or into some of the different music and things that I listen to. That's what I do. I like to share what I love. I don't really talk a whole lot about all of the other weird stuff going on out there, guys, as far as like the fandoms and everything are concerned. Not too long ago, everybody knows, like, well, not everybody knows, like knows about, all the different fandoms there are out there. We got like, the Fandom Menace. There's the Raylo shippers. There's, the Trekkies. There's, just all the different fandoms, different sects of fandoms out there that there are, and not too long ago, the gray order was introduced, and a whole lot of things been going on with that. It was actually started by Josh over at the Den of Nerds, and then he was really busy, and didn't have the time to do it, so he backed away. Mad Max the Mandalorian has kind of carried it on and all that kind of stuff, and I don't really talk a lot about that kind of stuff, like the fandom aspect of things, here on my channel much. Mostly I save that for the Trailer Park Live on Fridays, where I get a little more up close and personal with you guys, and I'm a little more raw, a little more uncensored over there on the Trailer Park Live there on Fridays, and I only do that once a week. But I am going to be doing a lot more of these kind of conversations over on my Patreon, through my Patreon. Some of them will be Patreon exclusives, through only for Patreon supporters. Some of these conversations will only be available through Patreon. It won't be anything that you actually have to pay for. But you got to be paying attention to my Patreon to be able to go over there and know when a stream is available, to check that out. So you should definitely go check out my Patreon. You can follow my Patreon, I believe, without actually being subscribed, to get updates and things like that. Because I will be doing some more live streams over there talking about more of these fandom type of things out there. But you're only going to be able to find that through the Patreon, not actually here on YouTube. It won't be available here. You'll have to go through there to find it. So make sure you go and check that out. It's gonna be getting into a lot more, like I said, deep diving a little bit more onto this, into the fandoms and the culture and different things out there like that, because I don't want to, like I said, like I do enough live streams here on the channel, and I don't want a lot of that kind of stuff clogging up what I'm doing here on the channel. And who knows? Maybe I'll eventually start doing these things here on maybe the morning live streams, or different things like that. Maybe just kind of reshifting, regearing things here on the channel, which I've been thinking about anyway. As far as things like with my comic reviews, and just thinking about different ways to do a comic book review, so it's not just like, the boring stuff. Like if you go check out John's Comics with Kids, he does these really funny ones where he does like skits, or he does characters. Like one day he did like a stop motion Lego thing while he was reviewing a comic book in different voices. It was hilarious. He gets into character, like dresses up and does different things, just stuff like that, to keep it fun, keep it interesting, keep it mixing it up. Because sometimes when I'm sitting here, shooting a video on a comic book review, I get done with it, I feel like this is the same video over and over, kind of. But I mean, I'm talking about a different comic book, just some different things out there to kind of review comic books, movie reviews, and things like that. Myrtle should, I believe he got bailed out not too long ago, so Myrtle should be back here in the studio soon enough. But some of those different things, but yeah. So definitely make sure you go out and check out the Patreon as well. There are links down in the description where you can go and find those. And thank you all so much for doing that. Like I said, you don't have to subscribe. Some of those things will just be exclusively through Patreon, not only for Patreon supporters. So, I will be, some of that stuff will be out there free to watch, will be available there. So, hopefully get some traffic over there. But let's see, what's everybody got to say here before we close out the show? Lord Cal says, I appreciate you. No, man, I appreciate you, dude. Like, seriously, guys, Lord Cal, make sure you go check out his channel. One of the best Star Wars YouTubers there is in the game. Discovery Bay Comics, thank you so much for being here. Hope you're doing very good. I seen you dropped a video early this morning. I didn't get to check it out yet. Justin Simone says, Darth Plagueis is great, too. It's not Old Republic, obviously, but it's probably my favorite Star Wars book. Lord Cal says, Bane Trilogy is one of my favorite. Deceived was definitely a great Old Republic novel. Okay, so Deceived, okay. That's where you guys, somebody else mentioned that up there. Justin Simone did, okay. Max Santiago says, I read the 12 and Scrimshaw. I have Zero Jumper and Tinseltown to read. Newsprint, baby, about $1.50 a comic. I missed those days. We would be buying more. Oh, okay. These must be some of the titles over there on the comic publisher you were talking about, Max. Interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say I do notice that publisher seems to have cheap comics. They're inexpensive. And I know for some comic shops they may not get a lot of those in for that reason because they don't get to make much money selling them as much. But that really kind of comes down to, you get somebody in there to buy a $1.50 comic, you may not make as much on that comic, but they may buy another comic as well. So it just kind of depends on the comic shop, really. And I guess how they know they can sell some of those books. But interesting. Thrawn Trilogy is good too, but overrated in my opinion. I prefer the Dark Side books. Nice. Max Santiago says Darth Plagueis is a Star Wars masterpiece. Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard a lot about that. Sylvester M says, "What's good?" and yo, sweet haircut, right? Oh yeah, you like that? Woo! I'm gonna blind people wherever I go. Lord Cal says, "I'm on my phone, Justin, but you can search my name; it'll pop up." Yeah, you can definitely check it out, and I'll see if I can find a link to his channel and get it put up here for you really quick. Give me just a second here, and we'll get that put up there for you to go check out his channel. Max Santiago says okay. Oh man, this jumped on me again somewhere. Justine, a fan of the dark side. Awesome. Oh, it must have been Justin. Justin says, yeah, I put Bane trilogy right up there with Plagueis. Read Bane, Max. You may change your read Bane, Max. You may change your mind. It takes a little bit for the first book to get going, but wow, some great stuff. AFK Bart is here. Thank you so much for being here. Says make sure everybody likes and subscribes. Yes, we've got 16 people here, only 13 likes. Did some of you dislike this video? If you did, that's okay. Okay, here we go. Let me get into here. See if this is probably gonna switch. Here we go. Bam. Oh, dang it. Okay, here we go. If you want to find Lord Callus's channel, you can follow the link right there that I just dropped in the chat. There's the link to Lord Callus's channel where you can go and subscribe and check him out, dude. Yeah, he's a great content creator. AFK Bart says, Trinity, did you shave? Yes, I did. The Me Too Med Star Wars Network says, just stopping by to say hi. Well, how are you doing today? Michael S, right? Michael S. Thank you so much for being here. You look a little different, like a clone or something. Maybe I am. But anyway, guys, yeah, so that's all I have. Just some of the things we wanted to talk about today, some of these comic books, some of the things going on in the comic books. Like I said, follow the links down in the description. Also, follow the link that I just dropped in there for Lord Callus. Go check out his channel. Go subscribe to him. But follow the links down in the description where you can send in a direct donation via Streamlabs if you'd like to. Also, you can become a monthly Patreon supporter. But like I said, as far as a Patreon is concerned, I should be doing a live stream tonight. Will be maybe about an hour doing my monthly Patreon live stream. But that's exclusively for Patreon supporters. But I will be doing some more live streams over there exclusively through Patreon, not exclusive to just Patreon supporters, where I'm probably going to dive in and talk a little bit more about fandoms and things like that. The stuff that I don't want to overcrowd my channel with here on the regular channel. I like to keep it more focused for comic book reviews and movie reviews and and these live streams we're talking about comic books and movies, not necessarily about fandom. Michael C. Okay, Michael C. I knew I was close. All right, well, thanks for being here, Michael. But yeah, so guys, make sure you go check out my Patreon. Like I said, there will be some videos coming over there as well. Like I said, not just for Patreon supporters. But that's all I have for today's video, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe, click the little bell and all of that good stuff. Make sure you go check out Lord Callus's channel. I dropped his link down in the description. Also, make sure you go check out Fanjexter's channel as well, because tomorrow evening, on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, I'm going to be on Fanjexter's channel. We're going to be talking about the 2000s Pixar films. No, 2010s Pixar films, and it's going to be a good time. I've got kids, so I'm very familiar with all of these films. It's going to be a good time. You get to go in there and you get to cast your vote for what movies you think should win, and it's a battle to the death in an NCAA tournament style bracket that you get to decide what is the best movie. And as a matter of fact, I followed this same format that we're starting to do now on Sundays for the music live stream that we're doing on Sundays that I'm doing with my friend Rich. So make sure that you guys stop in and check that out on Sunday as well. But that's all I have for today, guys. You all have a very good day, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.